Chernobyl is going to be fine. All you have to do is not go to Chernobyl. And as long as you were there when it all happened, you're good. To be fair, I think that was a leak. It's not like a bomb was dropped there. But I think, no, if you ask me, I think in like 20 years, they're going to find a solution to radiation. Maybe not a full solution. 20, 30 years, I think with the help of AI stuff, I think they'll be able to figure it out. And that's chat. I love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for watching. As always, if you guys are new here, you're watching on YouTube, step up. Videos titled "An Insane Story of Serbia's Cheapest Apartments."
From the outside, this house in Serbia looks like a regular apartment building. The guy didn't walk past without giving it a second glance. She stepped into the garage and slipped through this tiny.
We are to defeat Kasegawase and his allies. I need to help the United and see what I can do about the French.
White, except for these small stains on the walls. The floor is covered with dark tiles, and at the back of the room stands
no hostile in the area, sir.
Good, don't let your guard down.
He kidnapped their enemies and bring them here. Some evidence, so they can show their the help of industrial crime.
I mean, the motto is that if there's no body, there will never be possible to escape us.
This is the story of one of Europe's most notorious crime networks and their human savages. Linking ties to Serbia's elites and an ingenious tale. Sebastian Lewis.
Hell. Brothers, you know, if you find somebody up like that, you still gotta tell them. That's it. Okay, what you know about that? No. What do you know about using acids as explosive? Describe your expertise, please. Feed them to pigs? How do we got murder researching? Look, I'm not missing them. Breaking Bad. Oh, okay. Oh my god, I thought y'all was talking from experience.
Trigger warning. This video contains graphic descriptions of violence as well as references to disturbing material. Viewer discretion is advised. Much of what we know about this case stems from an indictment by the Prosecutor's Office for Organized Crime in Serbia, as well as reporting by the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project and the Serbian Investigation Mortal Creek. Their work has been crucial in uncovering this story. You can find links in the description. Chances are you'd struggle to find Serbia on the map.
Not me.
It's a landlocked country, south of Hungary, next to Romania, hosting 6.5 million people in figure. Politically, it's run by the right-wing SNS party. Alexander Vucic has been president since 2017. In the streets of Serbia, the Balkan Mafia has a strong presence. Two clans play a major role. Kalac and the Shkaljani. Their story begins in a neighboring country.
Kotor is one of the most beautiful towns in Montenegro.
This is Nevan Dojinovic. He's the editor-in-chief of the Serbian investigative Mortal Creek.
They have really has a huge old town. It's beautiful. It's really nice, and it's a popular tourist area. And there's a lot of basic history that actually happened from this town.
In the 2000s, a single criminal called the Kotor clan operated here. It was under the rule of Drugar Darko Šarić. For more than a decade, he controlled a significant share of the cocaine trade into Europe. He was arrested in 2014. And after a cocaine deal went wrong in Spain, the group split into two clans, the Kalac and the Shkaljani, named after two villages in the region. The two clans don't just operate in Montenegro. They're active across the Balkans and traffic drugs all over Europe.
Basically, the role of Balkan organized crime group is to transport big amounts of drugs from South America to Europe, and then usually they sell these drugs to European gangs. They will not deal with distributions.
The Kalac and the Shkaljani are locked in a violent conflict. They're hunting each other down.
I cannot even count them all, but it was definitely more than 100 murders were connected in this war in Serbia. 100 definitely. And then in some countries, they found groups to join one another side. Like in Bosnia, some of the Bosnian criminal groups joined more like Škaljari, others Couch Gang.
As a result, the conflict between the Montenegrin clans has spilled over into neighboring countries, Croatia, Bosnia, Slovenia, and Serbia.
In Serbia, they were looking for like local Serbian allies, and they found and it's one of their most important allies.
And which one was Luke from? Which one is Jokic from?
Serbia was this regional group.
60 gig Russo.
Without a distance to
Slovenia is Luke.
its generative AI allies, platforms and featured tone, aggressive, and powerful. One of them is Veliko Belivuk. In 2016,
Is that from Skip?
Yannichad,
Football hooligan group that suddenly appear out of the blue and become very important on the stadium of football club practice.
CCTV footage shows Belivuk leading the bodyguard to the director of FC Partizan. After Yannichad, his leader, was murdered, Belivuk takes over. According to the New York Times, he renames the group Principi because he acts on principle. But the name also carries an association with Gavrilo Princip, the nationalist whose assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand
Lost Star, so it looks Sonic too. Yeah, that's crazy.
truly set off World War I. Over time, Belivuk transforms. He's no longer just a leader of hooligans.
He became one of the top allies of Kavac gang.
Principi begins to operate as a major outpost for the Kavac. In 2020, the war between the Kavac and the Štaljadi is still raging. Belivuk and his group play their part of the war on Serbian soil. And they come up with an idea, one that takes the violence to a whole new level. They start looking for a place to kill and destroy the evidence.
They found a house which was very close to the river, on the outskirts of the Belgrade.
This building will become their slaughterhouse. Inside, they set up a torture press.
He said, "What's signing out the Jokic on?"
To the members of rival gangs.
That's really perfectly the side of the house to like normal house. But if you manage to open this wall, then you have small corridor, and then what leads you under the stairs will be like a big room which will be usually wrapped into the plastic prepared
Some
for the
Dexter shit.
with one chair. That's the more scary part than this was actually how they were like bringing victims. Most of these people actually lured inside of the house.
One of the victims is a man we'll call Luka Maric, not his real name. He's a leader of a rival partisan hooligan group and an important associate of a man called Filip Korać.
Now, Filip Korać is an important organized crime figure from the Serbia who sided with Škaler gang.
That means Luka has ties to the enemy. In August 2020, his wife is making dinner and feeding their 2 babies. Luka heads out to buy guns.
Wasn't that a shit?
Afraid for his life and more, so he kind of felt something could happen. He wanted to buy new guns, most likely in order to better protect himself.
Claiming the indictment, he meets a friend he trusts on a dirt road beside an empty field. Luka doesn't know yet, but his friend has betrayed him. The meeting is a trap. Belivuk and his gang are waiting for him.
They will surround you, they need to find the person which is very close to you, which then they will make to shift the sides and start working with them. And then they will use somebody you trust to actually lure you. So this happened in this case.
They jump him, tie him up, and take him to the slaughterhouse. Then they drag him inside, force him to unlock his phone and go through his confidence.
The first moment he understood it, basically, he's down.
According to the indictment, Belivuk and his gang begin to torture him. Afterwards, they behead Luka with evidence.
They use his blood to write on his back Korać, which was kind of basically a message for his boss, Filip Korać.
Then Belivuk and his gang send a phone to Luka's office. The messages read, "Tick-tock, tick-tock, this is how you'll end up. We'll catch you." According to prosecutors, after that, Luka's body is cut into pieces.
He would not play game.
The remains end up in bags.
So, not to pry, but would you happen to know if Kesegawasa has any weaknesses?
He was a scout and mercenary long before he joined the assassins.
May Lady Luck be with you then.
I make my own luck.
The Colonel exerts a certain amount of control over the army, or part of it anyway. But we'll need both the soldiers and their native allies if we're to set up a proper defense against Kesegawasa.
Then the band.
Sega Wasa has allies in every tribe that sided with the French,
As
well as many others.
Clappers,
Hunters,
because they
scouts.
think that's the most
Need all the
efficient
help
way
available.
to kill people and not leave the traces. In the end, the whole thing was about efficiency and hiding many traces. And actually, it was efficient in a way that still today no body was recovered. I think their motto was that if there's no body, there will never be possible to secure us.
David Russo.
Billy Cook and his crew. Zdravko Radojevic was lured into civil way with a promise of buying a gun. The prosecutor thinks he also ended up with a gun. And then there's Milan Lepoya.
Milan Lepoya was the highest level criminal who was killed in the slaughterhouse. He was like some old school Nazi guy.
He first made headlines in 2007. Back then he was part of a notorious journal group known as the Pink Panthers.
It's like the group that Hollywood movies were made about.
Their Dubai job, the Waffle Mafia, is legendary. In just 170 seconds, they stole millions of jewelry and spent off in their hobbies. Interpol eventually caught up with them. DNA evidence that were reported to the heist. He was ultimately arrested and sentenced to 9 years in prison.
That's it?
That returned to his hometown in Serbia with Beb Dishkolyani. By 2020, he had a new job.
He recalled in one attempt to murder the leader of Coward Gang, Liswitz, in the UK. He was shot a couple of times, but he managed to survive.
Lepoya was allegedly involved in planning the attempted killing. Now the college is having its revenge. Like Luca, Lepoya feels threatened. He starts looking for extra protection and considers buying an armored car. Billy Cook and his gang hear about that and lure him into a trap.
And they told him to come to this house in the Ritterbeck.
Instead of buying a car, he too ends up in a torture.
And if it's he reacted, so he was in this chamber. He saw they came with the axe. And he reacted in a way like, well, what do you do? Really decent. And after this kind of stuff, he had an answer like, this fighting this thing now. And this is really interesting because you can see a really kind of big difference because most of the Germans used to be young guys were like kind of very much brutal in their
Stalin calls
Yo, David Russo, man.
a generation of criminals that doesn't just kill, but turns violence into assault. And though Lepoya fights for his life, there's no escape. How do we know all of this? Time to talk about Sky.
Who's that?
Sky Global was founded in Canada in 2008.
We'll teach you to help the red coat.
This ultra-secure user switched to Sky phones after a similar encrypted phone provider was taken over and shut down by the authorities. The camera, microphone, and GPS are all disabled in Sky phones. Sky is seamless hidden inside the calculator. Users access it by entering a specific code.
And then you use your nickname, which you create, to communicate about nicknames to this Sky network. So it was basically a way how the basically criminals can speak.
You can choose for your messages to automatically delete. If the phone isn't used for a certain period of time, it'll erase itself. There are also features like a panic password and a kill switch. Phones can be accessed remotely to instantly wipe all data from them. The company is so confident in its privacy protections that it offers $5 million to anyone who can break their encryption within 90 days. Sky phones are perfect for people who value privacy above all else. They're quite popular with criminals. You can't just walk into a store and buy one. They're distributed through a complex network of distributors and local resellers. This man noticed the smiling butcher and claims he was one of them.
His nickname is what? Not even the butcher wrote the smiling writing. How fucking crazy that is.
He literally worked for the Sky company and selling their phones.
It's unclear whether he worked for Sky Global in any official capacity, but he's the tech guy for Billy Cook's CP Hooligan Group, and he makes sure they conduct their business via the Sky network. Billy Cook and his henchmen share messages and photos in group chats on Sky and ECC. They think they're safe, but they aren't. In the late 2010s, police find more and more Sky phones in the hands of criminals, so they begin investigating the network behind them. Authorities in the Netherlands and France discovered that the global Sky communications network runs on two servers. They're both located in a data center of the hosting company Orange in France. French authorities install an IP tag on the servers to monitor the traffic. The traffic is encrypted, so they can't read messages yet. The analysts find a way to copy the server's memory. Through that, they obtain an encryption certificate. Using that certificate, French, Belgian, and
This
Dutch
is more like
develop
it.
a method to decrypt Sky ECC's communications. This allows them to read the user's messages. In 2021, a joint team of European law enforcement agencies gets to work. They spend several weeks reading Sky chats in real time. It's a weird moment. For them, it feels like standing outside a building, peeking inside a house, when someone turns on the lights. More than that, it feels as if they're suddenly sitting at the dinner table with the criminals. So these doors, the authorities have spent approximately 1 billion messages, including the law enforcement with 107,000 Sky phones registered. Each month, more than 7,000 users actively communicate on the platform. It's all located in the Americas, most are new. About a quarter of all active users are based in Belgium and the Netherlands. Many of their messages will be sent closer to one specific place, including the metro. Just recording a video about metros and networks from cocaine, how cartels recruit items to break into containers and retrieve drugs from them. A lot of the messages that they release will come from an entirely different region, the Netherlands. They also started recording communications in Belgium and Spain.
Those guys do chocolate? Was that right?
The prosecution is collecting the nicknames that the criminals used to be in. In one of the chats, Belgium using his nickname Soprano writes, "Can't wait to strike one. See, honey, Mexico in the middle of Belgrade." Even when he's not around, he seems to be asking his men to describe the torture at length. It was some juicy details for me. In the chats, Soprano approves kidnappings and killings with short messages. We're for it. The smiling butcher writes, "He has already lost a finger and is badly ruined. But the idiot thinks he will get out. I've already skinned him well. And Lamar hits him in the head. He got a brutal beating by that bro. He was already serious."
Hey, oh my god, I know that the fans watching this shit just pricks. Oh my god, play, brother?
He unconscious. Afterwards, bro, he was all black.
He's
Didn't lose this much, didn't cry, nothing. He was in terrible shock. The authorities see all the pictures the gang shares in the chats, screenshots of Bitcoin transfers to pay off hitmen, fake identity documents, bills of cash, weapons, shields, and cocaine, and disturbing photos of torture. Police can see all this evidence from his gang to delete the photos.
Because, you know, the Sky as a system every month basically cleans everything. So in order to save these photos, in the end of the month they were always sending them to somebody inside of the gang just to keep them saved, so they really wanted to keep these messages. It's weird, but in a way, how they found their house, how they built their house, this corridor, how they carefully was not to leave any traces, that they did everything like so carefully there, and then like taking and saving some of this major evidence that's kind of elements of the whole thing.
French authorities informed the Serbian police about the chats. As a result, Bellevue and his gang were arrested. The charge of association with 11 murders, drug and arms trafficking, and kidnapping. Two small criminals are arrested in other raids across Europe.
Stay alert,
Trespass,
men.
drug trial, federal. Skybox. France deserve less and attention as the facilitated drug trafficking. Surveillance. Chat privacy.
Like if they truly didn't mean no harm and they like were so oblivious to who's buying phones, they would just make them available on the website like any other phone company. I just follow my social channels. But that's not what happened. We got to buy from a guy that knew guy, pre-approved, use new guy. It's not a normal way to sell any sort of technological devices. It's hard.
After the arrests, he searched the house and made a fire. He entered the garage, climbed through the hidden hatch, opened the door, and found evidence of the bloodbath that took place there. The industrial meat clapper. Proof cut into the
That's all
metallic
the
floor
DNA that
one
it's
side to the other. Single stains on the walls, door, next to a radiator, tap, and on the light switches. The smiling butcher cut a deal with the authorities. Based on his testimony and the DNA found in the room, authorities believe that at least 7 people were killed in the slaughterhouse. The arrest of Bellyhook and his group is celebrated as a major victory of conservative authorities, and it also helped the attention of politicians.
That's the one they want. Or to get to find it.
Stop! Let's have a word.
So Mars was also
Obviously, if you're the president of the country, things like things just take it down. You're gonna. That's
Fucking lazy bones.
statement.
As it seems very pleased that Bellyhook and his gang have been arrested. Yet he himself is accused of having enabled figures like Bellyhook with protection for years. In 2006, Montenegro moved from Serbia after a popular vote. The Serbian government under President Tadic followed reformist and economic policies. But ever since Aleksandar Vučić became president in 2017, he's been running the country more like an autocracy. Freedom of expression is limited. And frustration with the government has fueled repeated protests over the years. Getting Vučić's first presidency, demonstrations against dictators interrupted. A year later, another wave of protests followed after an opposition politician was brutally attacked by a group of armed men. In 2023, the school shooting sparked Serbia against violence protests. And in 2024, the canopy of freshly renovated train station at Novi Sad collapsed, killing 16
So long as we hold out
The train station is functioning as Serbia's progress. It has taken on a symbol of everything worldwide. Huge statewide protests aimed directly at Vučić's government erupted across the country. The authorities responded with violent crackdowns. And a year after the tragedy, 80 journalists were physically attacked. Vučić's presidency takes the political resources against anti-government protesters. According to Stella, lasers against anti-government protesters.
Hell no. Well, that's a stereotype. That's weird.
According to Stella,
Make sure you find them all!
Excuse me, that's the discussion. Basically, incorporates an organized crime.
Stop!
It's 2017. 2 years before the slaughterhouse. Serbia's capital. The building was spotted. Police arrested and seized his phone.
And they found very interesting WhatsApp messages inside.
These chats end up in the hands of journalists who start digging through them. They reveal that Bellyhook has some powerful contacts.
They found that actually Bellyhook in that time was in direct contact with one really important member of Serbian military.
That's a specially trained paramilitary unit with the Serbian police.
This is his father from the army. That's the army he wants to do all of this. And he will come up with the problem. So very every day fighting MSC for the message of the he was building. And it was say, many of us were after
Effectively like these members.
It has been pushed the worst.
forever.
it's like, you are guaranteed that all the innocent people in your country will live a horrible life. There's many countries with lots of resources, they should be winning in life, but they accidentally one day got bamboozled into the lending of Bozo, pretend like he was for workers' rights and human rights and freedom and all this shit. And they get in there, and as soon as you get a
Look out for strays!
it takes like it takes a revolution. It takes a lot of time, and in that time, the quality of life plummets. The fact that Venezuela has one of the best oil reserves in the world, and they're as poor as they are, is straight corruption. It's just corruption. It's just corruption. It's just straight corruption. And had there been no corruption, they would be rich as fuck. And look like they were rich as fuck.
Hold there!
It's sad, man. It's a guy that just keep right? But it ain't so the president get good. In 20 years, they let the person. It's over. They don't understand the country. That's
This guy was informing about everything. Was Diana. Diana Fatalovic was General Secretary of Senator, which means after the minister, she was number 2 police.
According to Stema, this top secretary of the police was informed about everything the police officer had wanted to discuss. But it doesn't end there.
That's something really
I am
important
called
to
Onati.
decide.
There is a legend among my people who tells of how the land under our feet was born, and how good and evil came into this world. The Sky Woman scattered her wisdom throughout our land. If you follow her path, you shall learn the true history of our people, and perhaps even uncover the reward locked within this cave. If you are the hero I believe you to be,
You honor me, venerable one.
it is you who honor us, Sheikh Korman.
And actually tell me why
Farewell.
it's important for the seminar doors to have control of this.
Protesters. Stop fans from chanting against the president.
Also important to some protest and willingness to carry the number in there, so little the government was using them some sort of like street force.
The president says he never met
What I believe that happened is that when the French police entered the Sky Force, and when they found these pictures and videos of the violence, torturing, dismantling bodies, that and when the Serbia was informed, we believe that President Vučić understood that he cannot any longer work with the Belgium. He is like become international issues big. So for this reason, we believe that eventually he basically arrested Khalid Jan.
You listen, damn, Martin's gang off the streets. Because it's becoming too big of a process.
The back that was still in place. Police officials then instructed those who worked closely together with them. The president was accused of using hooligans to silence his people. So far, almost no politicians or police officers have been brought to court in connection with this case.
President in control of the full police, prosecution, everything, and in these terms, it's not possible for politicians to be prosecuted.
Next room in the center of Belgrade is the Serbian president's office.
And in front of his office is one big park. And it was a really nice park before, but what the president did, he committed some sort of inside their camp, where he brought a lot of discriminants.
Stella, his team of Greek identified many of them as members of organized crime. People with long rings running to violence and abuse. According to Stella, the president uses these criminals as pawns for certain
Russians can never really come that close to him.
He's still learning to use military.
response.
So,
I can't look at Jokic the same anymore. Yo, don't let this story to this the 7 pages was like they literally said the story was killing 6 people, which is tragic. But just on the scale of bad things that have happened, building that trust, Yo, Trevor, they can do something.
It's still there. It's come to the traffic side. However, nothing will change.
Once again, we shall not match Britannia's army.
That nigga be telling crazy stories. No, bro, no. Did you see Satan's videos talking about Everest and everything was society?
World's tallest mountain used to be the most respected achievement in mountaineering, and today it's an absolute joke. The mountain is littered with trash. There are traffic jams at the top. TikTokers are filming themselves on the brink of death. This guy thought he was a legend for doing...
You're not on the brink of death if you can pull out a phone and put it in selfie mode and click record.
TikTokers are...
That was a fake cough. Look, you can't fool it. You want me to fool? Say 816 from the chat, but you can't fool it, Vito.
Filming themselves on the brink of death. This guy thought he was a legend for doing a backflip at 29,000 feet, and it somehow gets worse. A 60-year-old climber got mad at his partner, who was dying of oxygen deprivation, for taking blurry photos of him at the top. Inexperienced climbers are actually dying while waiting in a line of 100+ people to reach the peak. And the craziest part is, all of them are paying insane amounts of money to do this. One woman took out a second mortgage on her house to be able to afford the journey. And that's because there are companies that charge up to 200,000 euros for...
Hey, bro, this is the rich tax, man. At the end of the day, bro, this is the rich tax. I guess your life is so cozy and comfortable you could risk it on Mount Everest for no reason. I guess, bro. I guess there's no other mountains that would be equally as beautiful and way safer for everybody. I guess.
Great luxury Mount Everest experience, offering private chefs, heated tents, ping pong, and massage tables, some of which would not even be possible without the native people, aka Sherpas, who are the only people that can actually survive the climate on the mountain. Locals have provided expert guides to overworked and
No. These, okay, look, I don't think there should be billionaires, really, but if there were billionaires and the world was super fair, these would be the billionaires. Look at this nigga, man! This is actually a realistic interpretation of Wemby on the playoffs ball, my nigga. Everything on his back. There's no way he don't have severe back pain as soon as he gets rid of this shit. This, again, like at the end of the day, no one's forcing them to do it. So, like, they get paid for it. I heard sometimes they get paid poorly, et cetera, et cetera. But, man, if you're walking with nothing on your back and your Sherpa's doing this, I think you're shitty. I do think you're shitty.
underpaid workers that are dying so someone else can get bragging rights online. Before I researched this video, I knew it was bad, but I had no idea it was this bad. There's a dark side of Mount Everest that is only getting worse every year. And once you understand what's really happening up there, it completely changes the way you look at the tallest mountain in the world. Starting with the only people worthy of praise for climbing Everest, the Sherpas. Sherpas are the people that migrated from eastern Tibet to the Solu district of Nepal centuries ago. After generations of settlement, they had biologically adapted to a harsher climate where most Westerners can barely breathe. Located on the border of Nepal and Tibet, Mount Everest sits at an elevation of 8,948 meters, or 29,031 feet.
What's the second biggest mountain in the world?
For perspective, that's about 20 to 26 Empire State Buildings stacked on top of each other, depending on where you measure the top, or for fun, it's about 5,696 in each coast. Most humans around the world are biologically unable to survive at that elevation. When scientists were able to study the Sherpas, they quickly proved that they had superior genetics. Interesting differences showed up in the muscles of the two groups. In the muscles of the Sherpas, the study found the cells mitochondria, the energy-producing parts, converted more oxygen into energy.
That's actually why this happens with all.
Damn that, Jeff! What happened here?
I say we not me.
Segawase.
The rest of them,
Then we are too late.
That's why
No.
they need to build
Fort
such a
Fredericks is nearby. I'm sure the colonel can hold it.
You heard the captain, lads. Make haste!
like Denver, right? Then you would just be a demon at anything that relies on endurance. Just because that's literally like it's supply and sky.
The Sherpas' mitochondria were less leaky and therefore more efficient than Westerners' mitochondria. In layman's terms, they were better at using oxygen. During the climb, Sherpas are the ones maintaining the ropes, checking anchors, and are able to use more energy to make split-second decisions to prevent mountaineers from dying, which is how the very first summit was actually possible. New Zealand mountaineer Edmund Hillary and the native Sherpa Tenzing Norgay finally became the first men to summit Mount Everest in 1953. Hillary admitted that none of it would have been possible without Norgay and his natural ability to physically use less oxygen in times of crisis.
Oh my god. Ask y'all what the second biggest mountain was. Why you guys sending fucking drugs?
We're losing our bearings!
When people saw the successful Hillary and Norgay expedition, they couldn't wait to be the next military sultan.
Keep her safe while I'm gone, yes.
And used the same route as Hillary and Norgay along the southeast ridge. Their climb to the summit was successful. And what these pioneers never expected was that this route along the southeast ridge would one day become as crowded as the lines to get on amusement park rides. Everyone understands that climbing a mountain is dangerous, but I think we need to remind these tourists and TikTokers who aspire to climb Everest how this thing is a literal death trap. And ultimately, we actually die every year on this journey. But first, we all live busy lives. That's it with this. It all starts in a mountain town with an airport smaller than a football field that tourists from around the world fly into to start their trek. The hike from Lukla to the Everest base camp will take more experienced mountaineers around 4 to 7 days. But for the slower and less experienced, it can take as many as 7 to 14 days. Annually along the way, there are beautiful mountain towns and villages with locals. At the beginning of the true Everest climb, and yet most people will experience the brutal side effects of minimal oxygen at higher altitudes. One previous trekker rode over 5,000 meters, you're out of breath. Even going up a couple of flights of stairs feels like hiking with the worst hangover you've ever had. Headaches, nausea, dizziness, and blurred vision. YouTuber Madison Clydesdale talked about getting sick halfway through the hike to base camp.
Day for last night, I got really sick from, I think, altitude sickness, but it also could have been the pasta that I ate. So I did have to take some Dialogues, which is the altitude sickness pill, and once you start taking that, you have to continue the entire time until you've gotten back down to a lower elevation.
The reason it takes so long to reach base camp is not necessary.
It's like a self-promise. Okay, here's what you have to understand about the first world event. They actually don't have many real problems. So they have to invent problems to entertain themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, their survival is already figured out. They got a house, they got a mortgage, and they've got jobs and shit. They're bored. So they have to do this. Otherwise, because humans hate boredom more than they actually value their life. So they would rather risk it than succeed.
Really, because of the distance, rather the required exercises called acclimatization rotations, which are basically just trekkers staying multiple nights in Afghanistan so their bodies get used to altitude. Once a climber reaches base camp, they will be breathing in about 50% of the oxygen they would be at sea level. And this is where the extreme danger begins. First, they must consider that at any point there will be an avalanche, falling rock, or horrible weather that can
We speculating for people like this.
kill them. Next to camp is the Kuku Glacier, which shifts around by several hundred meters every year, which means the trail to the summit is never exactly the same. So they go in with a plan, but they must be ready to adapt. After base camp, members are confronted with the most dangerous and mountain, the Kuku Ice. It's proof that the best of these issues. require temporary bridges made out of ladders to cross. These crosses shift on average a few feet per day. The Sherpas have once again made the dreams possible for thousands of mountaineers. Sherpas are not just guides, they're the ones who quite literally build the paths to the top. They're on the mountain daily, fixing ropes along the most dangerous sections, setting ladders, and mapping out the safest possible route through the constantly shifting ice. They carry the majority of the gear, setting camps at extreme altitudes, and constantly saving the lives of those who are in the way over their head. These days, Everest isn't conquered, it's more of an endurance feat engineered by Sherpas. Like this, human error is real, fatal accidents happen all the time. There are so many massive setbacks that must be considered. These ice flows are highly concentrated around the Khumbu icefall, and if one collapses nearby, most avalanche guides survival are often next to zero. The mountaineers make it to the Khumbu icefall. The next stretch of the journey is between Camp 1 and Camp 2. It's often referred to as the Western CWM. It's the valley in the Arab Center, which forces mountaineers to explore, and the deep crevasses become a just
this just looks like it's just a good view game.
You truly believe you can best me, traitor.
Now we can cover the top of the crevasses, forming what's called a snow bridge. It almost looks like a trap, and if climbers fail to spot it in time, there's a good chance they'll step on what looks like firm ground, only to fall in and be buried alive. But this is far from the only chance a journeyman on Everest has to be buried. Between camps 2 and 3, they have to get through an obstacle known as Lowest Base. According to one climber, climbing across the steep there's a high chance of avalanche and constantly falling rocks. Matter of fact, one of our Sherpas on our expedition once had his head cracked open by a falling rock. Apparently, he was running around screaming, wanting a rescue. Avalanches and falls mainly primary cause of death along the Southeast Ridge. However, the greatest obstacle that people tend to forget about Everest is the 90-meter has to occur in April between mid-April to late May. If anyone attempts to scale Everest in winter, the temperatures are reaching below freezing, even at base camp, and storms are frequent and extreme.
You truly believe you can best me, traitor.
Right now, there's a whole bunch of trying to keep good train.
Can carry you off the face of the mountain when the summer is monsoons. Fall, because of avalanches and landslides. Ground cover also obstruct visibility and make navigation very difficult. However, it's the final resting place where mountaineers can set up clinics. After this, they must reach the summit and come back down and go, which usually takes about 12 to 18 hours round trip. No matter how prepared they are, what kind of gear they have, or how many Sherpas are with them, nothing stops your body from working against you, which is why they call it the death zone.
This is what we call the death zone. In the world, there are very few human habitations above 16,000 feet. You just can't keep it. Now, until you're at 26,000 feet, 10,000 feet above that level. And so things are breaking down. If you cut yourself, if you get sick,
you well, traitor.
So you're definitely in a zone where your body can't
It didn't
keep
have
it.
to be
On
this
Summit
way.
Day, the South Pole,
You
for the
are
summit,
an enemy.
people
Achilles will
themselves
see
really
you
hard.
dead.
They're
What
typically
he's
haven't been
doing
eating,
is
drinking very
wrong.
well. They haven't
Who
been
are
sleeping
you to
well.
touch?
They're affected by the hypoxia, they're going to be hypothermic. And so this is the most dangerous place. One, just environmentally, the atmosphere produces less oxygen. They're tired from this whole nonsense.
But the most frightening part of reaching this stage is how they climb it messes with your judgment and self-awareness. Most climbers refer to this as mid-fever, where you stop focusing on the frostbite on your body, measuring the amount of oxygen you have left in your bottles, accepting your remaining strength, and ignore the lethal cold temperatures, all because you're so excited to reach the top. Last thing, hopefully, that will bring you back to reality is the hundreds of dead bodies that have been frozen solid as a reminder if you lose your mind and fail. On the north side, there's a summit fever victim that acts as a landmark, known as Green Boots, who is an unidentified dead body that many believe died in 1996.
He's been down there for 30 years? He's been dead for 30 fucking years, my nigga?
The French are smart.
The oldest body to be found on Everest is Jordan Mallory, who attempted to be the first climber to reach the peak in 1924. His body was found in 1999, and no one knows whether or not he made it to the top. He passed over 100 years ago, and his body is still there, but most of the deaths on Everest don't happen on the way up to the top. It's actually the descent from the summit that tends to be the most dangerous. The euphoria after reaching the top, combined with the fatigue, causes...
You just told the whole squad.
Yeah, I used to cause people to make bad decisions like missteps on a steep slope, forgetting to fasten themselves to a secure line heading down, like in the infamous 1996 disaster when 30 climbers thought they could beat the bad weather closing in at the top of the mountain, only for the storm to claim 8 lives and leave many severely injured. One of the survivors, named Beck Weathers, fully expected to die until his expedition leader, Michael Groom, managed to...
Is that frostbite on his nose? Hey, man.
Save him just in time.
And I'm not surprised when you saw me the second time that I looked like I'd already gone.
The severe frostbite led to Weathers losing a large portion of his hands, forearms, and even a number of toes. But to people like Michael Groom, climbing high summits was like another religion. He truly felt that this was a worthwhile risk to stand at the top of the world.
This black mark here represents the frostbite that I received in the last few days.
Good heavens, Michael, I mean, is it really worth it?
Well, you'd have to think, looking at it, that it's not, but we all realise the risks involved, and you accept those risks, or you don't play the game.
TikToker Bianca Adler attempted the climb before turning 18. Luckily,
Do you swear to uphold the principles of our order, and all that for which we stand?
I do.
And never to share our secrets, or divulge the true nature of our work?
I do.
And to do so from now until death, whatever the cost?
I do.
Anything for attention.
Then we welcome you into our fold, brother.
Anything for attention.
You are now a Templar, harbinger of a new world.
Well, at least she's safe.
May the Father of understanding guide us.
May
May the Father of understanding guide us.
It's like, you know, shoot the TikTok before you're even safe. You get what I'm saying? Like, even if you just survived, but you obviously don't look like you're in a state where you're safe yet. How could the views be more important? That's what they're saying.
Do you understand now?
I'm starting to see why you're so interested in Shay Cormac.
Her video racked up millions of views on TikTok, but people weren't exactly sympathetic. It's hard to feel bad for people who climb Mount Everest. Mind you, they paid for this. Rich people has saved me yet again. But Bianca is definitely not looking for sympathy. As I speak right now, she is attempting to...
I did not think you'd get this far, but you seem to be on the right track. We still can't access the servers in the basement, but there's another one located at the top of the building near Melanie's office. That's next door.
Climbed Everest at just 23 years old. Himself in more dangerous experiences than most people, but he always...
There's nothing wrong with putting yourself in dangerous situations. At all. Right? You could argue playing in the NFL is a fucking dangerous situation because they all get CTE. You could argue doing any contact sport for that matter is a dangerous sport. You could argue motorsports is dangerous. You could argue anything that could potentially take your life early is dangerous. Being a lumberjack is dangerous. There's nothing wrong with the dangerous stuff as long as you take safety precautions, obviously. I think it's more so that to climb Everest, you have to drag other people into your decision. I think that's the point you're making. And, you know, I can see that. I can 100% see that. Because, you know, if...
Could you stop by my office? We need to have a talk.
This office used to belong to a man named Olivier Garneau. He was my predecessor as Chief Creative Officer of Abstergo Entertainment. Otto Berg is a representative from our parent company, Abstergo Industries. He's showing you the true history of the world, just like they showed me. Olivier was kind, he was intelligent and passionate about our work. But a year ago, he caught a glimpse of this truth. They never found his body. This is not the way we normally bring people up to speed on these matters, but you've worked hard and are proving yourself, so I'm granting you level 2 security access. The servers on this floor should unlock more of Shay's memories. Please restore the servers to our friend Mr. Berg.
Don't lose your momentum, numbskull. Get to the next server.
If chopping down trees was causing us lives, we would have a fucking problem with it. But if the only niggas dying are the ones that assume risk, then, you know, it's, at the end of the day, you know, that's what you wanted to do with your life. It is what it is.
We see again whenever he talks about that.
I love your videos. Thanks, man. At some point, it looks beautiful. I'm gonna wait for things to settle down. I saw those riots and shit last year.
He barely escaped the
That's why Martin Down saved Baptist from slavery and inducted him into his so-called brotherhood. Macandal was suicidal, and in his desperate attempt to liberate slaves, he broke his own rule by indiscriminately killing
them in
males.
tears and sitting with them.
Misguided as they are,
It does
some
definitely
folks
make me
are
question a lot of the time is any man to really worth a life? Especially clear answer is no. But at the time, you know, sometimes your ambition is those we can go for it. And that's why I think now, kind of with a bit of time and experience, would I do it now? Would I take a 1/6 chance of not coming home?
When his
Well,
comrade
no,
and
because
personal friend Roger fled to Louisiana, Baptist saw the futility of his former life in Macandal's brotherhood. Madeleine served her potential and instructed her templars in New Orleans to strike
trying to reach this summit again.
If he could draw Agathe out of
surrounding
hiding and
Everest,
eliminate her, he would be allowed in a place safe for him.
the journey of climbing
Though
Mount
Baptist was
Everest has
killed
been
by the
so
assassin
romanticized in the past few decades,
his path
entire
clearly
tourism
demonstrated
industry is
the
being
inherent
built for
superiority
inexperienced
of
climbers that are
temporal
totally
ideas
ignoring the deadly
over
ramifications of
assassin's
their dream to take a selfie on the tallest mountain in the world. By the early 2000s, the focus surrounding Everest had shifted from small commercial expeditions with select groups into dozens of companies attempting to sell the full luxury experience. Many of them like Seven Summit Treks, 8K Expeditions, Adventures, Asian Trekking started offering packages that cater strictly to the ultra-wealthy. Here's some of these service descriptions from these expeditions.
Okay, this one's not so bad. Look, if rich people want to die doing dumb
They
shit,
say
it's
was
no
cunning
problem.
and ruthless.
At least if the rich people go, right, the Sherpas can get paid.
Dr. Animus, ready and waiting.
Unless they're not, and, you know, it's being popped by a company. But, you know, if they're paying $200,000, the Sherpa guy making some good bread, realistically. If I was a Sherpa, and that was the difference, nigga, I'm going for the big bread, nigga. They weren't. Oh. So where the fuck would $200,000 go if not in their pockets? You pay for the permits and shit like that? They underpay the Sherpas. There's no way I'm the nigga risking my life. I'm gonna be underpaid. Fuck no, nigga. Absolutely fuck.
Fishing companies, a certain level of comfort and luxury, like Western Unions,
Tents,
roomy member tents with real bed.
tents, brother. A serial carbon footprint. Hey, nigga, I'm about to die. You think I give a fuck about a carbon footprint, nigga? You think I give a fuck about a footprint? You think I care?
Zero carbon footprint or our obviousness for us. Champagne is easy. It's needed for measured base camp setups. It looks more like glamping with the world's most dangerous climb. They even have hot water showers. Their most premium experience package will cost you €200,000, which is nearly $250,000. The company climbing the 7 summits takes it a step further. Our spa is fully stocked with a massage table, heater, electric blanket, relaxing music, and of course our very talented massage therapist to help cure the aches and pains from upper mountain climbing exclusively for our CTSS team. Tents are 20 feet by 14 feet and come fully equipped with a queen-sized bed with electric blanket, heating, satellite TV, in-suite bathroom, and entry with
Happy ending on Everest experience. I don't see no problem with this part. I mean, as long as niggas get paid well. Look, bro, if you get paid a sooner risk, nigga, you good. Do what you want to do, realistically, bro. Do what you want to do. As long as they pay well, you better pay well. Nigga, if I'm a suit, you better pay me well, bro. You better pay me well. And I'm not accepting nothing less than well, nigga.
Way to store your duffels, lighting, charging, couch, table, a CTSS onesie for 11 and our advanced drink service by our staff persons. A little reminder that that's not a description for a beachside resort. This is the tallest mountain in the world.
Given the nature of our current investigation, I have been looking at other assassins who, despite themselves, have helped.
Shit like whatever, I'm some Jeff shit, right? You know, Jeff Bezos, my dog, Spaces. Then I would 100% just take a helicopter to the top. I would see the views from the safety of my helicopter, and I would take my ass back home, bro. I can make that happen. I can make that whole trip in one day, so I save all the time. I get the same view, feel me? In fact, probably better, because, you know, I'm higher than you. Like, I'm in a helicopter, I'm completely higher than you. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but if it was, you know,
Grants do a hilarious job of justifying these ridiculous amenities to their rich clientele.
Is our famous big house.
oh, I see it in no way to explain it. No.
To their rich clientele.
The heart of camp is our famous big house. A huge geodesic dome designed to feel like a giant living room. Sure, having a professional barista pump out limitless cappuccinos while you play the world's highest game of ping pong or chill out overlooking the ice ball, it may seem a bit over the top. Like, is this an Everest expedition? It's not really meant to be luxurious. But here's how. Because while you may think we're being soft, all of this is actually highly strategic.
And yet, the marketing is working. Everest has become a multi-million-dollar cash cow, but the luxury offerings have misled people into thinking they're capable of doing the impossible. According to 3 university professors studying Everest's relationship with the tourism industry, sleeping in heated tents, not preparing their own food, or helping to move equipment does not test mental and physical fitness in such challenging environments. Pushing to the summit may put their own lives and the lives of other climbers and rescue teams at risk. Without all of the extra work people traditionally did at base camp testing.
Call agent, let's start Airbnb there. Nigga, I hate Airbnb already, bro. I don't want to start another Airbnb. Trust me, if you run a pal, you don't want Airbnb. Just trust me, brother. If you find out your neighbor just listed the house to Airbnb, you're gonna be highly upset when you figure out what type of guest pull up. Alright? I'm gonna tell you straight up. As first like options, it's nice to have options sometimes, but you're not improving the country whatsoever with that decision. There you go.
Their strength before the ascent, many unprepared climbers started marching to their deaths.
It is 4:26 on December 13th, 2012.
Your sentence is what I'm serious, bro. I know where you're from.
David Sharp, who made his ascent of Everest and Northeast Ridge, receiving initial assistance with aid in trekking, Sharp felt like he could make the rest of the ascent of Everest on his own in what's called an unguided climb. He refused to seek the assistance of Sherpas and only took 2 bottles of oxygen for the ascent. By the time he reached the death zone, Sharp was reportedly crawling on the verge of total exhaustion. Over 40 climbers passed him as he settled into Green Boots Cave, slowly dying from the lack of oxygen until he eventually perished. It was one of the first widely publicized critiques of the larger commercial expeditions. Edmund Hillary was reportedly outraged about the mismanagement and neglect of a fellow mountaineer. But Sharp wasn't the only tragedy. Out of the 200 summits on both major sides of the mountain, 12 were found dead, but the details surrounding Sharp's death are slightly disputed. Many have pointed out that some Sherpas actually made their way to Sharp's location to supply him with oxygen.
What orders are orders? My orders are to stand right.
What the fuck are you yapping about, bro? 2% of people that buy art care about art. The other 98% are just laundering money game. This channel, unless you have a passion for art, there's no point. It's just a money laundering industry. There's no point. For what? What am I trying to launder?
Rigidly refused to move and only wanted to sleep. There's only so much someone else can do to help someone in the dead zone. It's not like you can literally drag them down the mountain, and you definitely can't rescue them with a helicopter. Sharp's death serves as a warning about unguided climbs without Sherpas. And again, these Sherpas are not invincible either. Guiding inexperienced climbers has only increased their risk of death. Sherpas are starting to be seen more by paying customers as service workers rather than expedition partners. In 1992, for example, when the first commercial mountaineering expeditions on Everest began, 22 Sherpas and 65 paying mountaineers summited, 1 Sherpa for 3 clients. Nowadays, 2 or even 3 Sherpas for each member of a commercial expedition is common. One YouTuber even explained how his guide was doing all the work for him so they could move faster.
And he was going fast. I don't know why we were going so fast now. We had made great time. We were doing good. We had plenty of oxygen. But my guy was going so fast.
Nothing
flipping and clipping.
Same one as before.
I
Chase
didn't
back
get
and
the
knock it
chance
down.
to
See if you can
flip my
complete
own
the
hair
memory this
either.
time.
But hey, you know what? I'm not going to complain.
Of course, this has a lot to do with the fact that today's Sherpa will basically do anything requested when working for larger companies. On top of guiding you up the mountain, the Sherpas are the ones setting up the 2+ bedroom tents with you.
Got it. Chasing Paris, all right. I even got a date for you. 1776.
At this point in time, Franklin was the American ambassador to France.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Otto Berg, professional killer and amateur historian.
You always gotta be,
The mountain, the Sherpas are the ones setting up the 2+ bedroom tents with showers and chefs and base camp. It's heavily stocked breakfast facilities, medical station, collecting the growing mountains of trash people even the Americans to camps when hikers want to expend too much energy bringing it back down. But most of these nebulae Sherpas don't even want to do this anymore. But due to their isolation and poverty, most of them feel like they have no choice.
32 Sherpas have been killed part of guided climbs at Everest. 32.
Let him get away.
That makes the job of the Sherpa per capita the most deadly on Earth. The team said they're not they said it to say would rather not that of a potential
leads to more and more Sherpas carrying unnecessary luxury supplies to base camps on Everest, visiting their deaths. 14
how long has it been?
transporting supplies from base camp, only for 16 of them to be buried after a fatal
Thank you, my
crash.
friend,
According to
thank
the
you.
Macmillan
But
database,
what are you
the
doing in
keeper of the
Paris?
With all due respect, sir, this is no time to talk.
32 climbing
Still in
Sherpas have
danger.
perished on
Yes,
Everest slopes, 28 in the past decade alone.
I must return to my family.
The foreign climbers pay over $50,000 per climb, and a climbing Sherpa will usually make between $2,000 to $5,000 per season in multiple climbs. But the Nepalese government sees tourism as a valuable consideration. Has called it out for the subtle as it actually is. Everything. Everest in 2018. Very nice. The worst part of the luxury marketing and Sherpa exploitation is that it's attracted more and more people, types of people interested in climbing Mount Everest, which is why you see numbskulls like this doing backflips at the peak of the mountain.
For the top of Mount Everest.
Nigga, you're not doing this shit next to me. Okay? You do that shit on the leg by yourself. Not having trick, no air flips, no SSX tricks, nothing of the sort. Anyway, catch to me, vision, all like that. That's big ass smile on his face, man.
Sherpas themselves.
Oh wow, that was crazy.
Everest's continued popularity has led to some of the most disturbing and honestly embarrassing stories the mountain has ever seen. In 2012, a Canadian woman named Shriya was desperate to make her way up to Mount Everest summit and eventually make the board climbing season.
Please wait for me. I just want to make sure my family is safe.
She'd spent most of her life in India and finally in Canada. However, when her father flew her up in a helicopter as a child to see the top of Everest, she became convinced it was her destiny to reach the summit.
You got that helicopter towards being the richest fuck. And that wasn't enough. Goodness gracious, man.
2 feet, but regardless of her Nepalese heritage and patriotic ambitions, Shriya was not a professional climber. Her training leading up to Everest, climbing out of the KJ was carrying a backpack for 11-mile runs in cold weather. These are impressive fitness regimens, but using it as training for Everest is like saying daily walks in your neighborhood qualifies you for an Ironman challenge. Wearing rented gear and posing in front of a green screen for a fake Everest photo, Shriya created a website to ask for donations to fund her journey. This is my dream and passion, and I want to do something for my country.
That's crazy. And dad just paid for a heli. You know, it's not cheap, man. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. No. If you immigrated to Canada, you're probably rich too, because they only take the fucking rich immigrants. Unless you're a refugee, which it doesn't sound like you are, they only take the rich ones, bro. So, you sell it. You got the brand. You not need the foundation.
Nothing is impossible in this world. Even the word impossible says impossible. This is their big dream. This is their magnum opus. And they expect people to care. And to most parents to all of us, nobody donated to Shriya to help her achieve her dream. So she convinced her husband to pull out a second mortgage on their home to sign with Cosmos Adventures for $40,000. She went to base camp and hoped to learn enough mountaineering skills during acclimatization, except she had trouble putting on her crampons, which were the American's version of hobnail boots that helped climbers with ice and snow.
Fortunately, I make my own luck, Master Franklin, as I suspect you do.
Yes, indeed, my good fellow.
Was so evident that
Yes,
her
we have your assistance today.
to scare her away by saying that her attempts to
Well, you have my thanks. Is there anything I can do for you to repay you for this kindness?
Actually, there is. I need to meet a business acquaintance. I heard he would be at the Chateau de Versailles 2 days from now.
And they don't just let anyone inside the royal palace.
Too many people would try to reach the summit Very well. I'll see what can be arranged. 150 climbers tried to reach the top Friday and Saturday as they rushed to use a brief window of good weather in an otherwise troubled climbing season. Many had been waiting at a staging camp for several days for their chance to head to the summit.
That's the best we can do for now. We keep trying to sequence memories out of order, which is why we're crashing like this.
What do you suggest?
If we progress further with Shay's life in the colonies, I'm confident we can get better results from these Paris memories.
Very well. Keep me informed.
Uploading the next memory sequence now.
Shay Cormac, I hear you are the Templar's new don of precursor archaeology.
I'm no expert, sir. I just witnessed what the assassins can do with those damn sites.
I have spent years investigating precursor leads. Tell me what you have seen.
Well, I know both the assassins and Templars are looking for pieces of Eden. Powerful weapons, mind-controlling apples, but this time it's different. We haven't found an apple, but a tree. These temples hold the earth together like roots. Disturb them, and Haiti falls, or Lisbon, or any other place the manuscript shows.
And the assassins are blindly interfering with the structures.
Aye. And if we don't stop them, they'll continue destroying cities.
I see. We have intelligence of assassin activity near Louisburg Fortress.
Watch what I do with
We'll be meeting with a Royal Navy officer, James Cook. He recently gained a commission that could be strategically valuable. Gist has the charts.
Very well. I'll depart shortly.
Colonel Monroe spoke highly of you, Shay. He was convinced you could become the best among us. I expect you will not disappoint.
I don't plan to, sir. Guest, do you know why the Master is so interested in Captain Hook?
Well, sir, he is very intelligent and ambitious. His knowledge of seamanship is second.
is also an expert at deciphering secret codes. A man with such a skill is certainly an asset.
The kind of fellow we should welcome to the Order.
Well, he's a friend of mine, but the man has an annoying habit of strict honesty and a total lack of anything resembling guile. Makes it a little hard to keep secret business secret, especially when his mathematical brain is clever at cracking codes. Consider him a friend, but watch what you say around him.
Duly noted.
I've heard Louisburg could be a linchpin in the war. If the Royal Navy can take that fort, it'll be clear sailing down the St. Lawrence.
Then on to Quebec and Montreal. The tide is turning.
General Wolfe will give that craven Montcalm a right thrashing.
I've been looking forward to that since Fort William Henry.
With this bloody... over, we'll finally bring order to this damn continent.
I fear would take more than that.
Well, our anchors and board and our rags are set. O'Reilly, never forget. O'Reilly, gone away. Goodbye, me darling. Goodbye, me hero. O'Reilly, oh my way. Goodbye, me sweetheart. Goodbye, me hero. O'Reilly, gone away. Well, rain it is. There she is. The HMS Pembroke. Captain James Cook's ship.
She's a beauty.
Man of war, fully armed. We should bring the Morrigan alongside. Master Kenway will surely be waiting.
Welcome aboard, gentlemen.
Good to see you again, Captain.
Captain Shay Cormac, Captain James Cook.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Pleasure's mine, sir.
Captain Cook uncovered a rather distressing stratagem, which I fear confirms our own intelligence.
Indeed. As we speak, our Royal Navy fleet is on its way to Louisburg. However, the French have drawn up a preemptive strike against it if they launch this attack.
Obviously, we cannot allow that to happen. Gentlemen, the Battle of Louisburg could very well be the turning point which will finally bring this war to a close.
I don't know about you, but I've had enough of war.
Then may I suggest you take the wheel, Captain Cormac? I think you might enjoy piloting a vessel with real firepower.
I believe I shall, Captain.
Wolfe, Lawrence, and Whitmore lead the 3 divisions of the Royal Navy.
Who's their commander?
Major General Amherst himself, back from Hanover.
You take an interest in the war, Shay?
Wouldn't want to disappoint you, sir. cannot let any through.
It is imperative we stop those ships, Captain. The outcome of
Ready, Captain! Ease off the way! Get him a single touch!
Dear God, fire ship! Should they break through, they would devastate our fleet.
We'd better not let that happen.
I recognize that vessel, sir! It's the Experto Kogan!
How fortunate he is that we have other priorities.
Agreed. We have to get rid of those fire ships.
We have to sink that fire ship out of their way!
Oh, fire ships!
Boarders incoming, sir!
They're coming after us, sir! It's a
We're
gun!
right Get out of their way!
God, fire ship! Should they break through, they would devastate our fleet.
We'd better not let that happen.
I recognize that vessel! We have to sink that fire ship! Get out of their way!
How fortunate he is that we have other priorities.
Agreed. We have to get rid of those fire ships.
More fire ships!
Captain, look! Water!
Ready those motors, Shay.
Another wave of fire ships, Captain! We're right on their path! We have to sink that fire ship! Get out of their way! Ready for fire!
Fire! Captain! We have trouble up there! Gunboat, Captain! Great ship, Captain! That's that gunboat!
Fire!
Fire ship! Should they break through, they would devastate our fleet.
We'd better not let that happen.
I recognize that vessel! We have to sink that ship! Get out of their way!
How fortunate he is that we have other priorities.
Agreed. We have to get rid of those fire ships.
Cannon ready! More fire ships!
Please down! Catch some way! Let's get moving!
They're ferry rotters!
Warship close!
We're ready there! We have to sink that fire ship! Get out of their way!
Surrendering! Fire! Ready to fire, Captain! More enemy ships, sir! And more fire ships!
This is hopeless. Perhaps it would be wise to fall back.
War and wisdom don't always mix, Captain. This isn't over yet, lads. Man the cannons!
Yeah!
Fire!
Stay out of there! Sergeant, sir! We have to sink that fire ship or get out of their way!
Crowd it all on!
Loose topsails, gallants and royals! More enemy ships, sir! And more fire ships!
This is hopeless. Perhaps it would be wise to fall back.
War and wisdom don't always mix, Captain. This isn't over yet, lads. Man the cannons!
Yeah! We're right in their path! We have to sink that fire ship or get out of their way! Damage report! Take care, sir! She's done! Cannon! Heavy fire!
There's the Royal Navy. We cleared the way just in time, Captain Cormac.
The tide of war is turning.
That was quite a crack, wasn't it?
It is too soon for celebrations. Adewale is still out there.
Sure we'll get another turn to dance with him, Master Kenway. Master Kenway seems determined to destroy Adewale.
Aren't you? He's a powerful man in his own right, and a symbol of hope for the assassins. Eliminating him would shake them to their core.
It would. I know. But it seems a shame. He's a good man, Preston.
So was Elder Washington and Smith. I rather enjoyed training with him. And Wardrop too, though the man could not hold his liquor. He and Beast never got along.
If you're trying to test my conscience, Gist, you've succeeded.
We live in a time of war, Shay, but it's always wartime for us. I sound like my uncle Jedediah. He was an old sourpuss. Let me tell you.
Another time, Gist. Crowd it all on!
Captain Cronin has them!